Hello, dear aquarist. A video about a very nice dwarf cichlid, in many cases coming from South America, Brazil, or Colombia. It's the dwarf cichlid, the checkerboard cichlid, or the Crenicarra filamentosus. But these fish can come in with diseases when sometimes the river was in bad shape due to bad weather. Yes, storms and heavy rains can cause stress to the fish. Or maybe the collecting of the fish, the shipping, the handling, all the stress can have an impact on the health of the fish. So I received this fish for examination and I made a PowerPoint so I can show you my findings about a dwarf cichlid Dicrossus filamentosus with worms and a bacterial infection. In my books, you find also diseases explained on cichlids and dwarf cichlids with medications and what you can do about it. Here, the wild necrosis are skinny and very weak, and some did die or they are dying. You can see here they arrived, how weak they are, how skinny they are. Maybe haven't seen food for a long time. Maybe the conditions in the river were bad. Inside in the organs, we could find here in the liver, we could see here a worm. And here on the right, in the gut, we seen a nematode. Two photographs, two worms we observed. We took from this tiny fish the organs. The trematode here in the liver. You can see this animal is causing damage. Look, that liver tissue here reddish is infecting with bacterial infections, of course, secondary, and this worm is causing damage, making the fish weak and more prone to other infections. In other parts of the liver, we found a nematode, a roundworm, moving around, also causing lesions and damage. There we see some reddish bleeding parts in the liver. And that, of course, is not helping the health of a fish, which is maybe weak due to poor feeding and a poor history. And so we found in the spleen those melanomacrophage centers, which is the defense of that organ against bacterial infections by macrophages who try to take the bacteria, but at the same time, it's taken away healthy spleen tissue. It's the spleen with this problem. And we found a lot of bacteria. You can see it here in the internal organs. So secondary bacterial infections can appear after weakening, after those parasitic worm infections. So a mix of problems. So you might think about a mix of treatment for this Crenicarra. Because we know that wild fish can have worm infections. I explain about that in my quarantining classes or training that I give at my Patreon. And that can cause secondary bacterial infections. Usually that happens after handling and shipping of the fish. So it's necessary here to combine an anti-worm and an antibacterial medication. Ask your aquarium shop, are you a fish doctor? Or read my books. You can help this kind of fish with a functional fish food that helps this dwarf cichlid to regain strength and to fight off these infections. And I could recommend Dr. BASSLEER BIOFISH FOOD PUMPKIN. Some people say, well, they don't like to eat granulated food. Well, try first maybe the garlic. Garlic gives them a good palatability, a nice smell for the fish or a taste. Also, the BAFISH food caviar also helps for fish who don't like or not used to eat granulates. Try it. You can help the fish to regain strength and to fight off this infection. Of course, together with medications. The medications have to kill bacteria and the parasites. Food doesn't kill, helps the fish to regain strength and to fight it off. In my books, I explain about the diseases, the prevention, the diagnosis, and how to control. Learn at my Patreon channel about fish doctoring, how to become more specialized in the knowledge of fish diseases. So I hope this checkerboard cichlid teaches you an interesting case of fish diseases, that you might help to understand what wild fish can bring in to your aquarium. Subscribe to stay tuned and to stay informed. Thank you for watching.